Let us learn programming on programming myths. Let us get started with the video, but before that, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Let us just move on to interfaces in TypeScript. Let us see what are interfaces in TypeScript. Okay, for the sake of clarity, let's go to another file as this file is having already a lot of code in there. So let's create another file and name it interfaces in typescript.ts. What is an interface? Well, as the name already shows that it provides an interface, a face to the object and classes. How? Let us see. You define signatures or you define rules or you define contracts, the way it will be presented to the world. Okay, now first create an interface and see that in practice. I create an interface, I student. Okay, interface student. Just a simple practice. Now you define over here that this interface will contain this much of properties and this much of methods. Property, just as we did earlier, uh, let's say registration number will be one property. The other property will be name property, student name property, and the method that we are going to apply is the study method, and that study method will return void. It doesn't return anything. Okay, so this way you are defining an interface and you are telling that this interface will have registration number, student name, and study. Now you can apply this interface or you can implement this interface on either on an object or on a class. First, see that with an object. Let's create an object. How do you create an object? In JavaScript, you can create an object and just like in TypeScript, JavaScript, you can create an object. Right now, we are uh, creating an object of type student with having the type I student. Now, if you define the student in curly brackets, the object would have properties. First property it will have is the registration number, definitely, and it will be separated with the colon. Let's say registration number is 001. Then the next value is the student name separated by colon. JavaScript and TypeScript shows objects as these are a sort of JSON object. JavaScript, this is a TypeScript object because it is mentioning the type, but it is just the JSON object, normal JSON object. In the JSON object, you have property and value, property and value. So this way, and you have defined the type over here that this type will contain registration number, name, and study. You have not implemented it. You have just defined what it will be containing. Just see this is study function. It doesn't have any definition over here, but you will define it over here. Let's do that. And after that, this study method that will be returning void. And in the curly bracket, you define the body over here, implement the code over here. Okay, so the way we did earlier, console, and let's just copy paste that value from here over here to reduce the effort. Okay, copy and paste over here. It will also miss the student message. Let's put that as well. Student message is also a string. It gives an error because student message should also be given as this column. It should be assigned as column and should be over here this way. And, and definitely it's not having this keyword. So you see there are limitations coming up. You don't have this keyword in the object level. You have that with the class on the class level. Okay, and definitely you are not able to use this registration number as well. Within the object, you are not able to use these values, registration number and this. But how can you do so? That's the scene. That's the limitation. Now, the way it can be is that you just have it implemented directly over here. Okay. The object that you created, you are accessing the property of that object. Okay. So that's the scene. What does it say? It's missing student message is missing time. Okay. You have defined the message over here, but you are missing it. So let's remove that because we have directly used the value in the console log. Okay, and you define the study method over here this way. Now you have created this object and you can use this object wherever you want to use student dot study. You can call this method and that will work for you. You have implemented this interface with the object directly, not to a class.
Okay, if you're enjoying the teaching style, so the complete course is available on Udemy and it is doing well over there. You can see the number of students and the rating it has until now. So I am giving the referral link in the description. You can join the course, enroll the course through the link, and you will get more discount on that through that referral link. So if you find it interesting, please go ahead.
Okay, but you can definitely do that with a class. Let's say you are creating a student class that extends the iStudent interface. Okay, now the issue is that we already have a student class. So let's say a physics student class that implements iStudent. Oh yes, it doesn't extend, it implements. Okay, classes are extended, but interfaces are implemented. You need to implement it. Okay, so there is a difference. Class incorrectly implements the, yes, definitely it incorrectly implements. Reason is that these properties and methods are not defined yet in this body. That is the thing. That is the thing. This I student have an interface. It has some properties. It has some methods. They are a must to be here in this class. Then this error will be gone. Let's say it has to have a registration number, okay, and it will not be like the object. It will not be like the object. It has to be initialized, and definitely if a class is there that will have an initializer, we will do that in the constructor as we did it earlier. Okay, the second thing is student name, that is also string, and the study method is also defined. Okay, and we need a constructor so that we can have the values initialized. Okay, the constructor is there, the value will be r, that is of type string, the value is s, that is of type string. Just going quick, this dot registration number is equal to r, and this dot student name is equal to s. Okay, values are assigned to the variable. So implementing it into the, let's have it copied over here. We have seen that we are, okay, over here it will be used with this keyword. Reason is that we are referring to the class, and right now instances are not created. Okay, so we implemented the I student on an object, and here we implemented the I student interface on a class. Okay, interface means it has a signature that is to be followed, that is must to be followed. Okay, in the interface you define properties and methods, and these properties and methods are a must to be implemented on the objects and the classes that will implement that interface, just as we did over here. Okay, there is a slight difference between an object implementation and a class implementation. Objects are implemented as property and their value with the colons. Okay, and over here the registration number is defined as a property over here. It is not a JSON object, it is not a JavaScript sort of object. The property and the value, this one is a just like a property and a value object over here. This feature is different than this feature. Over here, with the column separation, you are actually assigning a value. It's a key and a value sort of thing. Key, value. But over here, this is the property and the type of the property. So this thing is different than this thing. This thing is similar to this thing. Now, with the physics student, if you create a variable, let physics student equals to new physics student, and in the constructor you give the registration number and the name Alfred. Now this physics student is created. Okay, and this physics student has properties and methods. There you can access with the dot operator. Okay, so a few things are there. This interface is implemented in the class in a separate way, and on an object it is implemented in a separate manner, but it is implementable onto an object or also onto a class. Now you have implemented this in a class, so you can create any number of objects that will automatically be having the same signature that is already implemented onto the class. So interface is just a signature that has to be followed by the implementer of the interface. In this case, this object and this class.
Okay, if you're enjoying the teaching style, so the complete course is available on Udemy and it is doing well over there. You can see the number of students and the rating it has until now. So I am giving the referral link in the description. You can join the course, enroll the course through the link, and you will get more discount on that through that referral link. So if you find it interesting, please go ahead.